So we're actually in overtime now, but we're going to try to have, if you can keep your questions really short and crisp, we're going to have the three of you finish up the question period, and then I'll just have a couple wrap-up comments.
Hi, my name is Godfrey. I'll try to be quick. I was just thinking when you showed the whooping cough chart there that's about the same time that census came in. And I was just wondering, alongside your 100,000 project, if you thought about adding questions to the census.
Our government's trying to cut down the cost of the census, so I don't think I'll manage it.
Same here.
Hello, my name is Stuart, and I'm a Quest University student. I wanted to ask, not against general practitioners, but there are like automation, kind of like auto docs coming out. Have you like factored in? I mean, these like automations, you just put in the data and they can prescribe something based on the data that they found. Have you anyway phased this into the your antibacterial plan, or?
Idea, but what we really need is the rapid diagnostic, and then that would work a dream, because we all know the Google work and the study that showed that actually if you put your symptoms into Google you did better than the GP quite often. So, you know, it'll be possible, but we need the rapid diagnostic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm from the Center for Clinical Genomics at the BC Cancer Agency. I just had a question about actually the 100,000 Genomes project. For, like, say for example, like you have a patient in one of those as a patient that has like something that we already know is a predisposition for like breast cancer or something that we already have we already have data that would suggest that would happen, and you discover this by whole genome sequencing. What is the likelihood that this patient will actually get that information back in time to do something important?
Well, we're trying to work using logistics specialists and getting a very effective turnaround time, particularly for the cancer patients, because if we find genes that matter to their treatment, they need to be made aware. But it's going to be a struggle, but we're going to try and do it. And then, of course, you've got to think about, to date, sequencing has been research grade. We're going to need whole genome sequencing that is clinical grade.
Thank you, and please join me in thanking Dame Sally for just a wonderful talk. Please stay right here. So now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our Vice Chair of the Board of Directors at Genome BC, Ida Goodrow, who's going to give some closing comments. Stay here.
So thank you very much, Dame Sally. Can you imagine how Prime Minister Cameron in the UK must feel when his assistant comes in and says, we have Dame Sally on the line and she has a problem she's identified in healthcare? I think I would just go, okay, how long before I give in on this one? So Dame Sally, I think everyone who has asked questions has already thanked you, and I would like to do that as well. You've taken us through an incredible process and described a situation where we, I think, could easily have felt overwhelmed, despondent, and very highly discouraged. And instead, you've left us feeling inspired, positive, uplifted. And I think it's because your comments and your approach is one where you have a unique combination of being able to bring ideas and data together with a persuasive and inspirational way of describing those. And then what is really, for I think many of us in the healthcare system, the holy grail, and that is this no bullshit, we are going to have action, a commitment to get things done. And so rarely do we have all of those together. You talked to us about your first initiative, which was starting with infectious disease, and obviously that's led to the antimicrobial resistance strategy. You showed really, I think, three ways or three very fundamental elements. One is knowledge, and you use data very effectively. The second is persuasion and inspiration, and you speak to everyone, the ordinary person, to power, to practitioners. And then the last is, as I said, this commitment to action, where you clearly say it is not okay to just stand by and watch and say, oh dear. So we're thrilled that you've taken on genomics. We're very, very confident that with your typical and trademark commitment and energy and focus, that we will in fact see tremendous strides. And we've often talked in BC, perhaps we should have our own version of 100,000 genomes. So I think we're going to ask you to help us. How do we really get this going? So thank you very much. And again, we will not stand by and watch things happen and say, oh dear. And to express our appreciation, we would like to give you this very symbolic and emblematic gift from British Columbia. It's a talking stick, and I think it is, we cannot give you anything more appropriate than this. So we wish you great eloquence and great effectiveness as you take this with you. Thanks. Thank you so much. I don't know how you'll get that home, but we'll find a way. So thank you again. So that concludes the formal part of the program. So again, on behalf of Genome BC, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I'd also like to express special thanks to Alan Winter and Brad Popovich for the work that they have done to bring, encourage, somehow persuade Dame Sally to come and not only spend a couple of hours here, but actually spend almost a week in British Columbia, meeting with many of you, also meeting with our government, and I think that gives us all great hope for the future. So thank you, Alan and Brad. And obviously these things don't just happen, as we all know, so I'd like to express a big thank you to Sally Greenwood, who is the Genome BC Vice President of Communications, and her very, very effective and occasionally long-suffering team. And I think many of them are here. Sheila, Julia, Cease, Jenny, and Damien. So thank you all for helping to set up today and the week that of activities for Dame Sally. So that wraps up the formal part of the presentation. I do hope that you will stay and discuss some of these ideas. As we all know, often the benefit, the long-lasting benefit of these kinds of presentations is not just the ideas that you come away with, but the ideas that you share with other colleagues who can help make some of these aspirations a reality. We will have, or we do have, refreshments outside, so that may help grease the wheels of your conversation. So thank you all very, very much for coming, and we'll see you next year.